la תוך אמונה העם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה
You shall love Adonai with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your might. Take to heart these commandments I give you this day. Remember and tell all your children to live by my ways. Speak of them when you're home, when you're on your way, when you lie down and get up and go about your day, as a sign on your hand and upon your head, on the side of your doorposts, my commandments may always be read. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shekemo Malechuto Leolam Vaed. Please remember, observe all these words that I've said, to live and be holy for years straight ahead. For I am your God, out of Egypt I led. Be holy, be righteous, remember the words that I've said. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto Leolam Vaed. You shall love Adonai with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your might. Take to heart these instructions I give you this day. Remember and tell all your children to live, oh, to live and remember my ways.
like you're fading away. Just call right out, we'll find a way. From a narrow place to a wide open space. From a narrow place to a wide open. From a narrow place to a wide open space. From a narrow place to a wide open Min habitar Karatia. Min habitar Karatia.
L'Ador Vador for generations and generations, and L'Ador Vador, Vador, Vador. L'Ador Vador for generations and generations, and L'Ador Vador, Vador, Vador.
Look around the world, look around your town. Every single age is represented all around. You see them everywhere, every street, avenue or boulevard. Anywhere, any beach, any park or any yard.
L'Ador Vador for generations and generations, and L'Ador Vador, Vador, Vador.
Ecclesiastes said one generation goes and another generation arrives. He got it wrong. For years we all live side by side.
Can you lean on those who arrived here before? Can you learn from those you remember being born?
Can you see that we are all together evermore?
L'Ador Vador for generations and generations, and Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you, Rabbi Aaron.
Shabbat Shalom. Oh, if you're having trouble finding a seat, it's nice Thanksgiving weekend, but we're all here together at this time to bring in Shabbat together. You know, I always think about that idea that no matter what we've been doing all week or whatever's happening in this big world, we're finding ourselves all in this spot right now. And so let's join together and bring in Shabbat with love and compassion and a little bit of music. We're on page 10. Or on the screen.
Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is to be together as one in love, joy, and laughter. How good it is to be in this moment together, kulanu beyachad. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Try that with us again. Hine ma tov. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is to be together as one in love, joy, and laughter. How good it is to be in this moment together, kulanu
Shabbat Shalom again. So nice to be brought in with song. And now let's bring the lights of Shabbat. I'd like to invite our Bat Mitzvah family for tomorrow. Sophie, would you like to come up with your family? Tom, Tanaz, and Aiden, would you guys come on up to light the candles? Sophie's tomorrow, our Mincha Bat Mitzvah. She's very excited. I don't know if you can tell. How excited? Up here? Okay, up here.
Well, I'm very excited. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Certainly this week has had a lot of conflicting feelings. Thanksgiving brings gratitude and awareness of our lives and the wonderful things that we have in them. Hopefully you were able to spend time with your family in a positive way. But there's been so much horrible violence this week. Just seems like every week that's what happens. So we try to balance between feeling gratitude for those beautiful things in our lives and horror for the incredible violence and death that plagues our society right now. That might be a heavy way to begin our Chazarat HaShavua, but contained in every week are so many different emotions and feelings. And so let's bring ourselves through some of those feelings that we felt this week. Bring ourselves into today and what you did to prepare yourselves for this service. So let's take a moment now to review our week. So we continue to welcome in Shabbat with Lechadodi, found on page 20.
Yalalai lechadodi, yalalai likrat kala, yalalai penei Shabbat, nekabela, yalalai lechadodi, yalalai likrat kala, yalalai penei Shabbat. Shabbat nekabela Shamor vezachor Beribor echad Hishmianu El HaMiuchad Adonai echad Ushmo echad L'shemo tiferet Velitila Yaelai Yalalai lechadodi Yalalai likrat kala Yalalai pnei Shabbat Pnei Shabbat nekabela Hitoreri Kivaorech Kumiori Uri Shir Daberi Kevod Adonai Alayich Nigla Yaelai Yalalai lechadodi Yalalai likrat kala Yalalai pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Let us rise and face the entrance as we welcome the Sabbath bride.
בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובתהילה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, יאי לי לי, יא לה לה לי לחדותי, יא לה לה לי לקראת כלה, יא לה לי בני שבת, בני שבת נקבלה. Please be seated. I would like to invite up Sophie to lead us in Chatzi Kaddish, which can be found on page 26, to get a little taste of what Sophie has prepared. 1, 2, 3.
Yitgadal ve'yitkadosh Shemei Rabbi Be'alma Divra Cherutei ve'amlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyonechon umchayedecho Beit Yisrael Bagala Bagala uvizmahan kariv ve'imeru Amen ve'heshmei Rabba mevora ve'alam moal me'almaya yitbara yitbara ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yitchalar ve'yitchaleh ve'yithalal ve'shmei dekudesha
Richu le'ela min kol birchata ve'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran ve'alma.
Be'imeru
Amen. Thank you, Sophie.
Let us turn to page 28 for the Baruch Hu. Please rise. So as we turn to the Shema, which is found on page 35 and 36, 34 and 35.
Yes.
But the tradition is to keep our eyes closed during this, if you do know it. And really, we're leading up to this spot. We've been welcoming Shabbat. We've gotten some songs for Shabbat, and we bring ourselves through this time leading up to this day that we spend together with peace. And the first prayer we say after we say, "Are you ready to pray?" is, there's only a oneness in the world that binds everything together. So see if you can feel everything around you. If you feel the energy from outside of you and inside of you. And all of it is tied each of us to each other, and all of us to the world, and our world to the entire universe. And it's all one. We sing Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kavod Malachuto Leolam Va'ed. So we move from that oneness to our freedom. We're on page 40 as we sing the song the Israelites sang as they became a free people.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la la ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha neda b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei feleh, nora tehilot osei feleh. Malechutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayom lifnei Moshe uMiriam. Ze Eli anu ve'amru, ze Eli anu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed.
We like to spend some time at every service thinking about those people who are ill and in need of healing. If you'd like to go to page 253 in the Siddur, we'll come back to page 46 in a moment, but you may want to go to 253 and we'll sing Misha Berach on behalf of all of those in our congregation who are ill. I have a list here to read, and we have some names that we can read online as well. But I'll also come around and gather names from all of us that are here so that we can take these names, bring them into our hearts, and pray on behalf of all of those that are called. Misha Berach.
Let us say Amen.
Charles Arenberg, Esther Batbatia, Jean-Claude Berthet, Lester Boxer, Eitan Chaim, Woody Clark, Jay Clement, Iris and Gordon Cutler, Judy Fenton, Erica Fernbach, Dee Friedman, Patty Goodman, Andy Hale, Helene Hale, Lori Haynes, Jeremy Hutchings, Naomi Bat-Chaim, Ishai Uvrana, Kathy Javor, Elizabeth Bat-Karen, Lita Katan, Sis Klein, Russell Kunke, Sheila Merowitz, Kathleen Agnes McCarthy, Offer Nissenbaum, Cynthia Palma, Warren Roston, Taylor Rubin, Jessica Schulman-Rana, Lindy Sobel, Marvin Sobel, Ilan Tamir, Harava Harona bat Tzvia ve'Yosef, Pessel bat Gittel ve'ichel, Sonia Ann Weggy, Ken Weiss, Yehudit bat Nechama Mordechai, and Howard Zellico.
The survivors of the Q nightclub in Colorado: Jessica Murray, David Kunkel, Judy Fenton, Thomas Kai, Karen Alexander, Don Jean Marty, Barbara, Barry and David Levy, Rosemary Green, Prudencio, Ben Sarah, Alex, Monica, Adisa, and Myra Bat Sarah, and Irene Bat Eloisa, and Rosa Bat Sarah, Cynthia May Wood.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
We go now back to page 46. We'll rise together for the first line of the Amidah, and then we'll continue on silently. Through about page 62, you can read the prayers in the Siddur or prayers in your heart, and when you're completed, you may be seated, and we'll continue with the service in a moment. Page 46.
Adonai, Sefatai Tifta, Ufiagi Tehilatecha. Adonai, Sefatai Tifta, Ufiagi Tehilatecha. In all of our services, we have a prayer, Modim, our prayer of thanks. This is a version written by Beth Stiles based on our Modim Anachnu Lach prayer. It's on page 58 if you don't believe me and want to see the text proof, but it is there. So we have Thanksgiving every single day, you could say. Feel free to look at the words on the screen. For each day I live, my God, for each day I live, I am grateful, grateful, forever grateful, grateful each day I live. For each day I live, my God, for each day I live, I am grateful, grateful, forever grateful, grateful each day I live. I am gifted by your glory, I am lifted by your love, I am grateful, grateful, every day I live, I am grateful, grateful, every day I live. For each day I live, my God, for each day I live, I am grateful, grateful, forever grateful, grateful each day I live. For each day I live, my God, for each day I live, I am grateful, grateful, forever grateful, grateful each day I live. I am gifted by your glory, I am lifted by your love, I am grateful, grateful, every day I live, I am grateful, grateful, every day I live. That was not the rabbi's fault. The words.
Shabbat Shalom. It would be perfect if I was going to start talking about being grateful, but alas, that is not the case. If there's been one question, if I said, what is one question that you might have been asking yourself more than any other question over the last 2.5, almost 3 years during this pandemic, what might it be? Bueller? Will I? Think about the idea of the question, why? It seems to me that question, why, has been one that we've asked so many times over these last 2.5 years. I think we've also said it even more recently as it's been going on and on and on. Why? Why the pandemic? Why is there inequality? Why is there anti-Semitism? Why is there violence? Why is there such hate speech? Why is the world filled with such difficult moments seemingly every day? Those seem to be the whys. But those questions are kind of like the stuff that's happening out there in the world, but I think there's been existential whys that have been asked as well. There's been articles written about this. People wondering why they're doing what they're doing and why they're living the way they live. Rebecca says it in this week's Torah portion, if you can believe that. So Rebecca's pregnant, she has twins, and really hurts. She's in a lot of pain. And she asks what seems like a simple question. Im kain lama ze anochi. If this is so, im kain, if yes, but it's kind of like, if this is it, lama ze anochi, why am I? If this is the pain I'm going to feel, why do I exist? Could be another way to say it. So that if so, if this is true, that's kind of the question that we've been asking ourselves over these last several years. Is this life? If this is so, what we've been experiencing. Hers was very different, right? She was pregnant, and there's midrashim that say she went around to all these other women and said, hey, how was your pregnancy? You know, did you hurt this much? And they were like, sorry, sweetie, no. And she's like, why then am I feeling this? That's one of the explanations that's in there. But other commentators are trying to tell us that if so was actually a question that she was asking to herself. Genesis Rabbah says, she asked, why is it that I long to be pregnant? You know, that's one of those things, you know, we better watch out. You might get what you asked for, right? Why is it that I wanted to be pregnant and I'm feeling so much pain and this is where I am? That could have been one of the questions according to the Midrash. The 16th century Italian commentator Sforno, he says that she was asking, why is it so, based upon the pressure she was feeling from her family, that she was going to have to give birth to like nations. So it says, why were my relatives so concerned that it would be me who provides the seed for Yitzchak when they said, quote, may it be you who will be the source of millions? That's a lot of pressure. That she was going to be the one that has to give birth to nations. Also, she says, according to Sforno, why did my husband insist that I become the mother of his children? I figured that question is kind of like, you know, I was going to say that we've all experienced, but we haven't all experienced. You know, the woman's giving birth, in the movies. She's giving birth, she's in terrible pain. She looks at her husband and says, why did you do this to me? You know, like that's what that one seems to me. Why does my husband say I had to have children? You know, I mean, this is something that happens naturally, and she was in pain. So these thoughts and ideas come out. But finally, we hear from the Ramban, who was actually a grandson of Maimonides, called Nachmanides. He lived in the Middle Ages, and he believed that it was an existential moment for Rebecca, and that's where I think we all come in. He says, the correct interpretation, in my opinion, I love that, right? This is one guy lived in the Middle Ages. He's got the correct interpretation, so we all better listen up. The correct interpretation is that she said, if it shall be so with me, lama ze anochi, why am I in the world? Would that I did not exist, that I should die, or never have come into existence. I read that and I thought of the movie What a Wonderful Life, right? It's that moment where you just feel so destitute that you're like, you know, it probably would have been better off had I not been born at all. But of course, that's not true. And it's pointed out to James Stewart. I'm not so sure if it necessarily is pointed out to Rebecca, but we'll get to that in a moment. So that's the why. That existential why is what I feel so many of us have experienced. Is this what work is supposed to feel like? Why does my work feel like this? Why do my relationships feel like this? Is this the way they're supposed to feel? And if this is the way it's supposed to be, is this what I want in my life? That could be another interpretation of, if this is so, why do I exist? And I think we're asking ourselves these questions. Is my life supposed to be filled with pain and anxiety and stress and loneliness and fear? These are all the things we've been feeling over these last couple of years. Is this the way our lives are supposed to be? And if so, what do I do with that? This is the question Rebecca really is asking. I don't know if you know this, but the Labor Department had a recent survey that showed that 50% of all Americans want to change their jobs because of this pandemic. 50% of the country. And in fact, 20% of Americans changed jobs during the pandemic. That's the population of Los Angeles. Like every single person in Los Angeles changed jobs. That's how many people we're talking about here. The Washington Post wrote that a third of those people in our country under 40 years old were considering a career change during the pandemic. Why? The reasons they gave is work-life balance, better pay, work culture, and career advancement opportunities. Because we have had a moment to ask, why am I doing this when it has a negative impact on me over here? That's what Rebecca is asking. If this is so, why do I exist? Rabbi Shefa Gold wants us to remember something about this scene regarding this moment for Rebecca and for us in our existential moments in our lives, and that is, the blessing comes in the awareness that we are indeed birthing life. We are always birthing ourselves. Why is she in pain? Because she's going to give birth to something incredible. Why does she feel this? Because she has twins. Now, you're a triplet. It was really crowded in there, wasn't it? Right? You're like stretching to have your space.
Yeah, I remember very
right?
clearly.
Your mom must have been like, oh my God.
My mom.
Right? I wish she were here because I would have asked her, did you ever say, if this is what it is, why do I exist? Do you think she asked that, or was that after you guys were born?
She just said.
It was like 20 years later she asked that.
Just tell me it wasn't twins. That's what she said.
By the way, this is the Cantor's bat mitzvah Torah portion. I do want you to know that. This is the anniversary of her bat mitzvah. Toldot twins. She's a triplet. You understand how that worked? This was like Kate. It was, by the way, the second longest service we've ever had here at the Synod.
Whose was the first longest?
First was my daughter's bat mitzvah. But let's go on. Okay. So if you think about the last reason I gave for why people are switching their occupations, it's almost the same exact reason as Shefa Gold gives us. She says it's because we're about to give birth to something. And what was the last thing? Career advancement opportunities was the last reason why people were changing jobs. So it's precisely at these moments where we can turn that, what was getting me into a very dark place, this existential angst of why do I exist? Is this my life? What's the meaning of it all? Into the question, what is this moment creating for me? What is this moment giving birth to in my life? Surely Rebecca found the blessings after she gave birth. They were in Esau and Jacob, her children. That pain she experienced was the birth of the greatest blessings in her life. It can be incredibly healthy to go through this kind of questioning. It can lead us to change and a new outlook on our lives. And it all comes from the last line of the verse after she says, if this is so, why do I exist? If it's for me, I'm in the shower. She asks for God to expound upon why. It says, she said, if this is so, why do I exist? And then lidrosh, she asked this of God, but lidrosh is like midrash. Expound upon it. Explain it. Let me find out what it is that this means for me. That's what I read as the idea that she went and asked this of God after she had this internal existential moment. So the question why gets us to search and expound upon the possibilities that each moment that presents these questions brings us to. So we begin really with that question of why, and we inquire as to what it might be that we can create for ourselves in the future. And if we understand that, and I hate to really say putting up with the pain of the moment, but dealing with the discomfort that we feel, that moment of discomfort, of pain, of uncertainty can bring forth blessings into the future, then we will find the answer to that question. If the discomfort we feel does not bring us blessings in the end, then perhaps we need to search for those blessings elsewhere, and that's not the right spot for them. If only we can answer for each of us when we ask that question, if so, then why do I exist? Shabbat Shalom. Let's go to page 282, and we're going to finish up our service together. Our final prayers begin with Aleinu, if you'd please rise.
Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, la'tein gedula le'otzeh bereshit, shehu noteh shamayim v'yosed haaretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al, u'shchinato zo begavhei meromim, hu Eloheinu einod, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo
We turn now to page 294 to Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. We begin with the names of those in our congregational family who have died in the last month, whose families are observing Shloshim. Morris Baum, Doris Lasner, Ruth Karp, and Carol Hyman. We also recall those that have died at this season in years past, whose yahrzeits occur on this Shabbat, especially Sylvia Barenfeld, Louis Goodman, Anya Leibovich, and Robert Wharton. Are there any names that have come up online?
I'm sorry. No, that's just Facebooker.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 1 second.
It's all right. You can see the names up on the screen of those people in our congregation.
That's Arlie. Ed Golub.
Remember Arthur Behrens? Is there anyone here who is observing Shloshim in the first 30 days after the death of a loved one and would like to stand and tell us who they're here to say Kaddish for?
My dad, Morris Baum.
Is there anyone here who is commemorating a yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of a loved one? Please stand and tell us who you're here to say Kaddish for.
Also Lily Boxer.
Is there anyone here who's in the first year after the death of a loved one that would like to share that name with us? Let us rise together in solidarity with those names called and the mourners who are among us. As we say Kaddish Yatom, we also say it for those that have no one to say it for them, those that have died in the Holocaust, those that have died from COVID-19, and especially those that have died most recently from the incredible violence in our world. We say together, Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, Be'alma divrach erutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, B'agala v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabba mevarach le'olam ulol me'ol maya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kodesha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Dam miran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi shalom rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high create harmony amongst all of us, the whole world. And we say,
Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. In a moment, I know that most of you are here for a birthday blessing.
Everyone.
We'll get to that in a moment. First,
A
the
couple
Cantor is going to
announcements.
regale us with incredible
I'm
announcements.
going to be very quick. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., please join us for Shabbat morning at Emmanuel. Rabbi Aaron will be leading with our cantorial student cantor, Jenny Asher. Very
She
excited.
looks really happy in that picture.
She's so happy. We don't have a slide, but of course, join us for Sophie's bat mitzvah at 4:30. And then, believe it or not, Thanksgiving's over, so Hanukkah is next. It doesn't really work that way in the Jewish calendar, but that's okay. So we start, please save the date, December 18th at 4:30 p.m. Let's see, Dan. There we go. December 18th at 4:30. This is a community gathering to light our giant menorah and then go have your big first night of Hanukkah parties. So this is it's not a full party, but it is an opportunity to come together as a community.
I think Elizabeth's having everyone at her house afterward
Right,
for a
exactly.
party.
Exactly. But join us at 4:30. Then that same week, I believe there are two other things that we're going to share right now. There's other private things. But the Tuesday, the whatever that is, the 20th, Hanukkah, it's going to be more than stories, but there you go. Rabbi Aaron and I look really silly.
That is weird.
Crazy pictures of us. It's from when we recorded
during the
our
pandemic.
virtual
It's
Hanukkah recordings.
during the pandemic.
During the pandemic. December 20th at 5 p.m., Rabbi Aaron will be telling his famous Latka Town story.
That's true.
And it'll be really fun. And the big thing that we want to make sure we get as many people to fill up the space is, dun, 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 Latkes and Lo Mein. Hanukkah concert, and there will be some comedians there. And we will have Latkes, and we will have Lo Mein, and lots of music, and it's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
So that's on December 24th at 5:30 p.m. And last but not least, a special Simcha banner for Sophie.
Really?
Yep. Oh, that's not the right one. Oh, wait, Shauna. First of all, Mazel Tov, Shauna. We welcomed into the tribe, but that wasn't there
That
when
was last week.
No, but okay. Well, Shauna, we loved having you, and Mazel Tov, Shauna. Now, do we have one for Sophie? There we go. Is that embarrassing, Sophie? It's okay. I think later you should go stand there and let your mom take a picture of you in front of it. Yeah. All right. Birthday blessings. It happens to be the month of Rabbi Jonathan Aaron's birthday.
Right. So I can't read the blessing to myself. Does anyone else have a birthday this? Because if I'm the only one, we don't have to do it. Elizabeth, come on up.
Wow.
Anyone else have a birthday this month?
This is Sophie.
Sophie, it's your bat mitzvah, isn't it? Your birthday this month?
Yes, they waited so she'd be even more prepared.
If Elizabeth and I are the only ones, then we're going to skip this.
May you feel blessed.
Thank you.
May you feel safe.
Thank you.
May you feel luminous. May you feel loved. May you feel joyous. And may you feel whole.
Now, who's older, Elizabeth or me? Who do you think?
Wait, let's ask the kids.
Yeah, who's older?
Aiden, who's older?
Who's older, me, out of the two of us? He guessed me.
By how many years?
Well, that one we don't have to do. Okay. I think we're ready for our final song.
Oh, well, in honor of your birthday, how about we sing "Oh Say Shalom" by Rabbi
Sounds
Cantor
great.
and Aaron?
Let's stand up
Stand
so we
up.
can do some Jewish swaying.
By the way, thank you to the one and only Dan Tater. He's here. He made an appearance
Thank you,
tonight.
Daniel.
Thank you to Matt for greeting back there. And I don't know who's greeting online, but you did a great job. Thank you.
Thank
Kevin,
you, Kevin.
thank you, Kevin. Oh, say
Shalom,
Bimromav, Huya, say Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imeru, Amen. Oh, say Shalom, Bimromav, Huya, say Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imeru, Amen. Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. Oh, say Shalom Bimromav, Huya, say Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imeru, Amen. Ve'imeru, Amen.
Baruch atem b'voachem, Baruch atem b'tzeitchem. You're blessed as you came into this space. May you be blessed as you go forward.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.